he continues to fight MMA guys and YouTubers, he's gonna continue to look good and shine. But once
He will continue to look good and shy as long as he fights MMA guys and YouTubers. But once he faces a real fighter who can actually fight, it won't be that good. At the end of the fight, it was obvious that the opponent was 58 years old, and he looked like a 58-year-old man. I have many problems with this. I believe it says a lot of negative things about the combat sports world and sets a really dangerous precedent. Next, we'll discuss the entire fight clearance approval process. After that, we'll discuss the physiological reasons Tyson looked the way he did. There are several real anatomy and physiology changes that explain why Tyson looked so bad and contribute to the idea that this kind of thing shouldn't have happened. How did this fight even occur or get approved? How does it feel to break out of that bubble and turn someone into a real boxer? Since I can't break into his house, what he's doing is kind of cool. If they can match him the way they have been matching him, then more power to them, champ. We appreciate your time, but we have to give it to Nick. Put the camera on PT, yo PT man. Thank you, P, for making this happen. We also appreciate the money team always. Following his encounter with Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather criticized Jake Paul, claiming that the 27-year-old outperformed the 58-year-old superstar throughout 8 rounds, and that Tyson's advanced age had a noticeable impact on his performance. Floyd Mayweather criticized the fight, accusing Jake Paul of stealing money by taking advantage of fights with older or less competitive opponents. So even though it was crazy, I'm proud of him. A while back, his brother said, "Oh, I didn't get paid. It was just like I said before, he's wanting to keep his name out there. You know, as long as he attaches his name to mine, he's going to keep my name out there." If you recall what he said, he didn't pay me. Where's the lawsuit if you didn't get paid? However, as I already stated, both brothers are aware of what they are doing. Jake Paul won by unanimous decision after dominating the fight. On Twitter, many viewers and commentators thought the show lacked enthusiasm. Jake didn't appear spectacular and couldn't have knocked down a 60-year-old without knees, according to a user called E, who denounced the fight as one of the most dismal fights he had ever witnessed. Despite Tyson's tenacity, his age and physical state were clear disadvantages, leading some to doubt the competitive spirit. This sentiment paralleled widespread dissatisfaction with Paul facing far older opponents. Integrity of these kinds of matches. After defeating Mike Tyson, Jake Paul thought back on his performance, emphasizing his dominance in the ring. He said, "I didn't get much punched or hurt," which confirmed his opinion that he had successfully controlled the fight. The event was dubbed the biggest battle out of Las Vegas by Jake, who is known for his flair for theatrics and marketing. He also highlighted the fight's extensive reach by boasting that it was streamed on Netflix, marking a significant milestone in boxing's transition into mainstream digital entertainment. Jake also boasted about the match's financial success, claiming that it made $1.8 million. I'm not sure why Mike was wearing ashless chaps, but I think it made my stomach hurt to watch him do that. He was wearing a G-string, which I don't know, but it looked like a stripper. I'm sorry, I didn't knock him out, though, because I told him you were going to say something stupid. Even though he was wobbling, you did the right thing in the end by bowing and maintaining your class. You didn't receive a G. This claim, which highlighted Jake's skill at marketing, drew criticism. Many people took his comments to mean that he valued money more than sports competitiveness. From your point of view, this fight was just different. I feel like mentally locked in, like a lot less nerves than normal, and honestly fighting. In a stadium, there was less nerve, it's less personal, and it's less loud. However, after I saw him a little tired, I didn't want to put too much hurt on him, but I wanted the fans to have a good experience. At one point, though, all of my aggression and super violence went away when I wasn't getting hit much at all, and I don't know, I was just doing it. I love Mike, and he helped us through the entire fight. Ariel Helvani, a journalist for Combat Sports, expressed the disappointment of many fans with a scathing analysis of the fight's conclusion. He claimed that Mike's victory over Jake Paul was the only one that would have made people pleased. The sentiment that Jake's triumph against a 58-year-old opponent lacked was mirrored in this comment. Those who believed the fight was an unfair matchup intended to favor Jake found resonance in Merit Helwani's remarks. Opponents have always questioned the credibility of Jake's boxing career, accusing him of meticulously picking opponents to retain his perfect record. This fight in particular represented the frustrations of fans who were hoping that Tyson would upset Jake and challenge his narrative of dominance, saying things like, "Oh, he sucks," or "Oh, he carried him." In the end, though, I believe that the only outcome that people would have been truly satisfied with would have been Mike Tyson knocking out Jake Paul. I believe that's the only one that would have been sufficient, and that wasn't actually happening there. He landed a few punches early on, but there was never really any doubt as to whether or not that would happen. I believe Jake carried him, and I'm not sure if he could have knocked him out, but he definitely let up in the final few rounds. In the end, I'm fine with that because I predicted a Jake Paul decision because I thought it would be a little more competitive to reach the decision. In a now viral screenshot posted by KSI News, influencer-turned-boxer KSI, Jake Paul's long-standing adversary, responded, further inflaming the dispute by stating, "KSI goes off on Jake Paul after he beat 58 years old. Tyson, Mike, since KSI and Jake have been involved in ongoing arguments over their respective boxing trajectories, fans of both fighters argued whether KSI's criticism was warranted or just a continuation of their feud boxing icon status. KSI's dissatisfaction mirrored the larger dissatisfaction with Jake's opponent's selection and the fight's perceived lack of authenticity. Oscar De La Hoya offered a different viewpoint on the fight by describing Mike Tyson as the dangerous live dog in this fight and highlighting Tyson's enduring unpredictability despite his age. By acknowledging Tyson's potential threat, De La Hoya's remarks underscore the respect that Tyson commands within the boxing community despite criticism for his diminished physical capabilities. De La Hoya's remarks stood in contrast to those who dismissed the fight as a one-sided affair, reminding fans of Tyson's legacy and the dangers he can still pose in the ring. If Usyk decides to win and decides to drop to cruiserweight, then the fight is right there for him. A media outlet captured the disappointment of many by posting a picture of Jake Paul with a referee raising his hand in victory. The K-team thought they had won a very close fight. How did you score that, Oscar? I had it 1 point up for William because he had the relentless style and kept throwing punches. After 8 rounds of action, Jake Paul defeats 58-year-old Mike Tyson by unanimous decision, 7,973, 8,072, 7,973. It's heartbreaking to see, but let's all move on and pretend this ever happened. This post expressed the general dissatisfaction with the battle, which many people perceived as a show rather than a fair competition. When questioned about the bout between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, boxing legend, the scorecards further demonstrated Jake's supremacy, but for detractors, the triumph came at the sacrifice of authenticity. Instead of offering a detailed critique, Bernard Hopkins said, "I don't prefer to talk on that," and added, "Mike is one of my close Muslim friends." Hopkins' Israel's hesitation to talk about the fight brought attention to how delicate Tyson's legacy is and how contentious the bout is. This reply drew attention to Tyson's personal ties within the boxing community and the respect he still enjoys, which also mirrored other legends' wish to stay away from bouts that they believe compromise the integrity of the sport. In any argument, I'm always happy when no one is harmed, but Mike in particular. We've known one another for 40 years, and since I adore Mike, I just hope that it didn't detract from the boxing sport and the kind of event we had here today, which featured 4 of the best fights in the entire tournament.